KILR Killer Games.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome to the World Tour, Semi-World Tour, featuring Microsoft Flight Simulator 3. Yes, we are way back in time. Well, that depends on what you consider way back. Well, I don't know. What, about 30 years? More than 30 years? 35 years? Yeah, that's about right. No? Maybe around 30 years. But anyway, some of you out there may be thinking, why in the world are you playing this old sim? And why did you play it so long? And all these videos that you're doing. Well, I mean, why not? You know, I mean, I do play the modern ones. But the old sims they're fun to play. It brings back memories. My memories go back to the Commodore 64, not Microsoft. So I did Commodore 64 and then Commodore Amiga, and then I was on Microsoft Flight Simulator 5.1. So Flight Simulator 3, well, basically Microsoft Flight Simulator 1, 2, 3, and 4. I had not played back in the day. I'd seen number 2 and always wanted to play it because I thought it looked better than the Commodore 64, but I didn't have a PC and they were big and clunky, and well, I was a teenager at the time, so it's not like I could buy one. So these are all like new memories for me as far as building these up. And some of you may be thinking, well, why are you doing 3 and 4? They're practically the same. And, well, yeah, they are kind of practically the same. I mean, the fourth one is obviously an improved version of 3. It only came out, I don't know what, 6 months to a year after 3. It wasn't very, very long. Number 3 did not have a very long shelf life. And 4 just far surpassed it because you had third parties open up to making stuff for it, and user created content. So yeah, you know, it was kind of like, what was the point of 3 once the 4 came out? But for the purposes of this channel and the World Tour series, we're still playing 3 for those who remember Flight Simulator 3. That could have been their very first sim. And the experiences between 3 and 4 are not going to be the same on this channel. For one, the scenery discs that we're using are the original SubLogic scenery discs, where Flight Simulator 4, it kind of started that way, but then it went up in areas that aren't covered by SubLogic, and so custom created content is going to be needed. And then when it comes back into the USA, it'll be using the SubLogic USA East and West packages, which is different than the original SubLogic scenery discs. So it will have its own style compared to the Flight Simulator 3. So there you go. Because of that, you'll be able to compare 3 and 4, and you know, as far as the scenery is concerned, and you know, and I know there are some of you out there that are watching all the different simulators and enjoying each of the flights and how they change through all the simulators, how they grow and how they develop. And that's kind of a thing for me too, because I'm playing the old ones, and then I move with each flight sim, and so it's kind of a neat thing for me to kind of see these different flights start to grow and start to build up. It's kind of like planting a little, like a little baby plant or something, and watching it grow and develop into this tree or something, and then it starts, growing fruit. I think the tasty fruit is going to be Flight Simulator 2020. So I mean, like, it grows and it looks fantastic, with prepared and X-Plane, but then it doesn't have any fruit growing. We're seeing some of that fruit grow with all the little previews that they're doing with Flight Simulator 2020. But once they have that released, and I don't know, it might be released now. It depends upon when this video comes out. But yeah, that fruit's going to come out. It's going to look good. You're going to pull that fruit off. It's going to be something like the best tasting fruit ever. And we'll all look back and remember when these old flight simulators are like this teeny little, little sprout. But, anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what we're doing with our flight this time around. And this is the SubLogic map, Chicago area chart. This is from scenery disc number 9. And folks, remember, this is not to be used for real-world aerial navigation. Although it could be fun. You got to remember, some of the stuff isn't exactly placed where it should be. We found that out with Moline and Quad City. Okay, so we're here at Oshkosh. This is like the top of the scenery. They did not make the scenery that's north of here for Minnesota and Michigan and Wisconsin, because I guess they moved on. But still, it was only 2 more scenery areas. Why couldn't they finish it? I guess it didn't make any business sense. But it would have made sense for those of us who were still flying. Anyway, we're here at Wittman. We've had some long flights before this one, so we're actually doing a short flight, and we're going over here to Sheboygan because it's an interesting name. Sheboygan. Well, the Sheboy is interesting. The Gan, I don't know. But anyway, we're going there. It's just an interesting name. It's got an NDB there. And this will be good because we haven't used an NDB yet on these particular old simulators. So to give us a chance to kind of do something a little different. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So we're going to go into nav com and go to the nav radio. And G here says activate VOR2 gauge. Well, let's just deactivate that. And now we've got our ADF there. And we can go ahead and tune that in. It's 254. 254. And it'll be interesting to see if this works, because this did not work in the Commodore 64. It did work in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2, so I'm sure in Flight Simulator 3 it'll work just fine. But just in case it doesn't, we're going to use our Oshkosh VOR here, and we're going to set this to a heading of 120. Click, 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 click. Okay. So we're good. We're good there. And we could tune into Oshkosh ATIS. I'm not good. Oh, yeah, wait. It said it should be runway 4. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Let's just kind of pick a runway. Okay, so there is the Oshkosh scenery. You know, I half wonder if this is actually converted from the Flight Simulator 2 scenery or not. Because the Flight Simulator 2 scenery didn't have taxiways, but this does, so I don't know. I'm not sure how that works, but there's a small runway right here, and I think we can just go ahead and take off from that. That's going to take us out in the direction that we want. So let's taxi here and come out and then turn. We'll hit the grass or whatever and take off there. That's not runway 4. This one here is runway 4, but oh well. Who's going to tell us that we can't do it anyway? We'll go ahead and start the plane. We should be getting dusk here in about 10 minutes. The sun will be going down. We are in the spring season. We were in winter. We switched over to spring. That keeps it consistent with Flight Simulator 2. Because it did not start getting dark until 1900 hours. Well, the ADF is pointing in the direction we want to go, so it looks like it's working. Yeah, we'll just turn right there. I just saw a video of an interview with the developers of Flight Simulator 2020, and the YouTuber who was taking videos was going through like the lounge, I guess, and they had in display cases all the different flight simulators, and they had like Flight Simulator 1 and 2 in the case, and I was like, oh man, I would love to add that to my collection. As far as boxed copies, and they were like, obviously they looked brand new. There we go. There's that runway that we're looking to take off from. They're airborne. I always like to look towards the back to see us taking off. Waving goodbye. Bye-bye. Oh, and let's see here. Gonna fly over Lake Winnebago. Would you like to win a bagel? They're kind of tasty. Okay, so the ADF is pointing pretty much straight ahead, although the VOR, on the other hand, is not. So this should be a little interesting. It's not too far of a flight either, so we'll I think we'll level off at 3,000. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we'll bring the landing gear up. Like, we could just keep it down. It's not that short of a flight, but... Oh, I signed up for early access on Flight Simulator 2020. I wasn't invited. I'm not that special. That's okay, Microsoft. I'm still gonna get it. Come on, we gotta do a world tour series with that one. Just love to see how this all looks in that simulator. Now, obviously, you know, it's going to look good, but, you know, just being able to see how everything has grown. Got Fond du Lac over there. That's Appleton. Right there is Oshkosh. So Appleton is in here just like I thought it would be. Not sure if we need our lights on yet or not. Guess we'll find out here in 3 minutes. And yes, these old simulators can be a little tough on the eyes. Ooh, especially the Commodore 64 version. Looking at that one after a bit, it's just kind of like, oh. And I think it was like that. I think when I was a teenager back in that time playing it, I think it still kind of hurt my eyes. I don't know. So long ago, I don't, remember small little details like that. I remember playing it. I remember flying cross country. I did have all the scenery discs for the Commodore 64. Well, the ones that were made. As I mentioned in other videos, 8 and 10 were never made. Didn't matter the platform. They never made it. 12 they made, not for the Commodore 64, but they did do it for PC and for Amiga. That was like the last one they made, I think, of the original set. I'm not counting Great Britain or USA East and West. Always bugged me that they never did 8 and 10. How come one of the original programmers from SubLogic couldn't go in there and do a mod or something? I mean, we got people who didn't, I guess I do need my lights. We got modders that have made stuff for Flight Simulator that have created stuff. I'm sure the Flight Simulator developers are Flight Sim fans also. And some, that used to work with SubLogic and the coding would know how to add scenery. How come they can't go in and give us a mod for Flight Simulator 2 and 3 and... Well, wouldn't have to do it for 3, for 2, because the scenery you convert from 2 to 3, but... how come they can't mod and give us those airports? That'd be nice for us retro players. If anyone from SubLogic, if any of you are watching, hey man, give these old simulators some love. Finish disc number 8 and disc number 10. Please? I'll make videos. I'll say, I don't know how many people actually play these old simulators. Judging from the fact I don't see any videos of full flights on these old simulators, I'm going to guess not very many. Okay, we can see Lake Michigan up ahead. Right there. So we should be approaching Sheboygan here soon. It looks like our ADF is working well. Taking us in the right direction, it looks like. Not going to do any reading or anything this time around. It's a short flight, you know. Looking forward to getting some videos out on this one. Oh, there she is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some videos out on Fly. And I got Fly 2 in here also. I don't have the boxed version of Fly 2. So I just put the CD case inside here. There's a tiny little dot below all the other ones. Well, you can't see it now. But I think that's where the runway was at. I'm going to turn here. So yep, our ADF worked really well. It's got us pointing at the airport, so... And the question is, I don't even know how far we are. There is one way to find out, though. We can use another VOR to give us an idea as far as a cross-section. Let me pull that up and I'll show you what I mean. You got to kind of do this with these old simulators. So if we tune into Timmerman right here, when we pass the 360 or 0 radial, we should be like super close. So let's go ahead and do that because we don't need what we have on VOR 1 anymore. So Timmerman is 112.4. No! No. Oh, 5. Sorry. So yes, no. Yes, no. Whoa, are we that close? Okay, well, lower landing gear. Guess we're closer than we thought. That would go up to Green Bay if there were any scenery. There's a weird sound coming outside. What the heck is that? Huh. Slow my rate of descent here. still want a little bit of height so I can see where the runway is at. The lower we are, the flatter it gets, the more harder it is to see. Let's see if it's on the radar. Yep, I kind of see it. We can see the runway here. So yeah, we're coming in at a good angle, I think. So I got 3 runways? Didn't look like 3 runways on the map. Whenever I zoom in, it I can no longer turn the map off with whoa. Airport's kind of disappearing. Can barely see Lake Winnebago back there. That over there. So by the time you're watching this video, I may already have videos up on Fly and Fly 2. I've been getting in contact with Jeff Goldblum to see if he's willing to host those videos. No, I'm kidding. But how cool would that be? How cool would that be if I could get Goldblum to maybe do an intro or something for each video? That would just be awesome. I can see our runway. It's right there. Do a little power down here. Drop another thing of flaps. Because it looks like we're just a bit high. Take a look at the altitude for Sheboygan here real quick. Sheboygan 748. We are definitely too high. Another thing of flaps. Let's get this baby slowed down here. But at least we can see the runway pretty well as far as getting lined up. That might be a little low. Well, that's it. We are here. Go ahead and just pull off to the side here. Oh, turn the throttle off, that'd be good. And we'll stop it right there. So here we are, Sheboygan. Yay! Short flight, so I hope you enjoyed the relief from the longer flights. I know I did. So if you did enjoy this flight, go ahead and leave a like. I'd appreciate that, and so are your fellow viewers, because that'll help. It'll help it show up on the YouTube algorithms a little better, so that way people can find it. And if you can subscribe and help grow our community, that'll be a great thing as well. And then that notification bell, that's for you. That way you know when the next video is uploaded to the channel. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next leg of our journey.